Holy
what time
crap,
is it,
man?
What time is it?
It's only 16 after.
After what?
Woo!
Midnight? Hey, did the Giants play a game tonight? No,
Yesterday. They
didn't.
played it yesterday.
Okay. All right. San Francisco Giants post-game part 2 on the NorCal Sports Network.
Burning the midnight oil here.
Burning the midnight oil. All for you guys. All 3 of you. How many we got in the chat? Okay.
13.
Let's see who's up late on a Friday night. Yeah, we were doing well. We had like close to 40 in the chat or more, huh?
I tell you what, for all those who stayed up late, you will get a NorCal Sports Network. Appreciate you guys staying up so late and hanging out with us.
Hey, did you send Los the second link?
That is a negative. I sent you a message, email. I don't have his email, so.
Let me go out and send it to him real quick. Well, I'll be right back.
Cool. All right.
Well, yeah. Let me how to do. Oh, let me see. I got to go in here.
All right, who do you got in here? I see Mark Hope. Good to see you again. Yeah, I saw you in there with you're dropping all the money there in Larry's. That was awesome. Good to see. Yeah, I mean, you can't get enough of Ned. Ned is just absolutely fantastic. I love listening to that guy too. Awesome time. MF, good to see you. Shardall, Tyler. Shardall's #1 fan is in here. MF, I think I saw. Cad V20, Heroku. Appreciate it, guys. Luigi, yes.
Yeah. So we'll see how this goes. We kind of what do you guys think of the Giants situation? Really, I mean, is there a way that the Giants can turn it around and make a transaction or two that would change the structure? There's Los. Welcome in, Los. Give him a cheer. 12:20. Give him a big roar for joining.
For sticking with us. Yeah. I already did it for the chat. I'm surprised there's that many still here.
So hey, I'm not working tomorrow morning. It's all good.
Yeah. So Ned thinks pretty much that the division's wrapped up with the Dodgers, and realistically, it would appear that they would be the team to move forward. But let's look at this in all seriousness. Kershaw's hurting. May's out. Urias is
just got
back, but we don't know how long Kershaw's out. The rest of the rotation is, it's not super reliable. They could have injuries. I mean, anything could. I do think that this division is still up for grabs in the sense that the Giants are they were 2.5 going in tonight. I didn't even remember the scores. The Dodgers won, right?
I think Dodgers won. Didn't Arizona win? I think.
Let's see. Did the
Phillies
beat the Mets?
Won.
Okay,
Mets, I think won.
Let's see what happened. Mets beat the Padres. Dodgers whipped the Angels, and let's see what happened with the Diamondbacks. I hate it when the scores.
I think the Mets.
Oh, they beat the Pirates. So they're 3.5 out. They're 3.5 out. Still after Sunday, 70 games to go. I mean, if you're within 2.5, 3.5, that's nothing. I guess what I'm saying is things could happen to the point where Dodgers have some rough injuries after the All-Star break. I mean, or after the trade deadline's over, and they don't have really the wherewithal or means to to go out and get anybody to replace them. Giants make, say, a couple of really good deals that solidify the team. Tyro comes back in August. Conforto starts getting hot. Yaz picks it up. Maybe Peterson gets on one of his runs.
Do you see though? There's a lot of things that got.
I know. I'm just saying it's not.
Yeah,
it's not.
A lot of whips.
It's not a likely thing.
But you know where I think is going to happen? I don't think the Giants are going to be making no significant moves. I think the Dodgers, they're probably going to pick up a couple of starting pitchers, one of them being Ohtani, and then it's the rest will be history. I really think that's what's going to happen.
I don't know if they'll get Ohtani simply because of Artie Moreno, though. Like Ned said, he doesn't want to give up to his crosstown rival.
But the thing is, they're in the different leagues, and either they get a haul for him or they just lose him. It's going to be almost like the same thing.
They can get a haul from somebody else. The Dodgers necessarily don't have the best haul of players just because. I mean, you know who's got the best haul of players is Baltimore or Texas.
Yeah, that's true.
So, I mean, Texas is a team that might be interested.
They might be.
Hey, yeah. You could make the argument that Texas could get him, and he said you're going to play with a manager who's won 3 World Series.
Yeah.
You got guys on this team, Corey Seager, who's won World Series. You're loaded with talent, and you got no state taxes here. So we could sign you for, 50, we could sign you for $50 million a year, and it's like $60 million somewhere else.
Yep, true.
So I don't necessarily, know if how this will pan out, but I've seen a lot of teams.
Oh yeah. I think the Yankees will. That's another team. They're definitely going to be in a hunt for him. 100%.
Yeah.
All those big teams are going to be in it, except for the Giants.
Yeah, I think it's going to be tough to beat the Dodgers for the division. I mean, I just think they're the more talented team, and they're also going to, like Eric said, they're going to get some big players. If it's not Ohtani, though,
they're going to get.
They'll trade for some big names.
They do have the farm, and it seems like they traded away, and they always have enough. Yeah.
The Giants, if anything, will trade for a mid, number 3, number 4 type of pitcher, and hope they can catch lightning in the bottle.
And what's scary is now Harrison's out with a hamstring. Probably ain't going to see him for a while. So that's a big hit. That's a really big hit. It's a bigger hit than I think some people may realize, because I think they're going to have to rely on him.
Well, I don't think they were bringing him up before August anyway. So I don't think it's a hit because it may set him back, and hopefully it doesn't trigger something where he re-aggravates it and he's out for the year or something like that. Hopefully they get him healthy and then get him back. And then, I don't think they want to bring him up until August, because I think they're trying to manipulate the.
I think so too. Yep. Service time.
Yeah. So it looks like Carlos Rodon pitched tonight for the Yankees. He went 5 1/3 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned runs, 2 Ks, 1 homer through 69 pitches. So he looks like, he's back. Not a bad outing, it doesn't look like, by the line. But what was so funny? Did I miss something? Was it a
Heroku? Fire Eric Kapker. Fire Farhan Kapler. I know where he's going with that, Heroku.
Yeah, I think it's funny because when I was talking about over in the deal there with Ned, I think he thought I was thinking that the Giants would be barren and just nobody around Ohtani, but and what I was thinking is that, look, we got all these guys that are young and they're showing they're major league ready. They're going to be good for years. And, that was I tried to explain that to him, but because I don't think Ohtani, if that's why it's important that the Giants, even if they don't make the playoffs, that they show that they are on the rise, and that ideally that somehow they do squeeze into the playoffs. You're battling the Phillies, Arizona, because I think if the Dodgers are probably going to win the division, so you're going to be battling, and I think they can. I think Arizona's got some weaknesses, and they're young, but they're good. But I don't know if they'll hold up. I don't know if the Giants can catch them either. But I think they're kind of on par. Those two teams, they're kind of like neck and neck, and we kind of said that earlier in the year that they would be. We thought the Giants in Arizona would be battling
right
for third place because we figured it was San Diego and LA. That still could happen. I don't know. But I do think that the Giants are going to battle probably Arizona and Philly. I'm thinking the Mets may make their run.
I think so.
They got put on them kind of by their owner, like got to see something before the All-Star break. And what have they won? 4 in a row? 5 in a row?
Mets, yeah, I think something like that. I don't think they've lost since that last game in New York, right?
No, they haven't. They've won. I'll tell you right here. They've won 6 in a row.
Yeah, they're on a tear, man.
They're 4 games under 500.
Are Giants fans going to be happy if they squeeze into the playoffs and get knocked out in the first round fast?
I would be fine with that as long as they do it they don't give away anybody good.
And in the process, they gave up like a Wisenhunt and somebody else to get a Giolito or something.
That would be ugly.
See, I'm kind of with what Ned was saying. Like you go all in for whether it's Ohtani or whether you do a trade this year and you win 89, 90 games, and then you're out of the playoffs.
And you know what? Hey, to your point, Los, if we were only one guy away, maybe that wouldn't be so bad. But this team is far from just.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. I'm never ever going to root against the Giants. I'll never say, "Hey, please lose."
Right.
But I'm not going to lie to you. Like I know, hearing what Farhan said today, like we're a playoff team. We have a lot to go through the season.
This is the issue I have with the guy.
And this is the big issue I have. Like I'm telling you, like I'm never going to come on here and say, "Hey, please lose so you can get out of it and sell instead of buy." Because you know what? The smart thing to do would be take a step back this year to take 3 to 4 steps next year.
Yeah, but they won't do that. It's frustrating.
Why won't they do that?
Yeah, that's dumb not to do that.
Because I want to ask them why. Like, Farhan, this trade, is this going to win you a World Series?
Honestly, and the fan base can't get any worse. It's already plummeted. Can it really get worse? Yeah.
And the good fans are going to understand that if they sell and get a couple of more prospects, those Yankee guys, Danny, that Larry mentioned, how would you like those on the 24 Giants team?
Yeah.
I would. For Jock Peterson, all day.
Yeah.
And then if you could, get something for Conforto, and now you get something for maybe Flores or whoever.
What's scary is though the stock on Peterson and Conforto, man. If they don't do something here soon,
I know. Yeah, they're going to have to pick it up to get anything worth. But
listen to Elliot. Speaking of one of the things we talked about a week ago when Elliot Ramos is coming up, we said, I hope he does so well that he forces the Giants' hands to bring him up, or if he becomes. I mean, listen to what he did tonight. 4 for 5. Where'd it go? Doggone it! They got him down batting 6th. Crazy. 4 for 5. 4 RBIs, 3 runs scored, 2 home runs, and a double. 4 for 5. He's hitting .337 with a .997 OPS.
Love it.
And that's the guy I said, don't give up on this guy. He's 23. I'm all for my dream outfield right now for next year is Matos and Ramos and
Von Brown
and Von Brown and then McRae coming behind him, and then you start having this, this thing. And maybe the thing to do is, instead of taking 50, 60 million, what some people have recommended, and I think you may have even been on this, Los, is go get 2 or 3 guys for that money, and maybe go get those 2 Japanese guys. That
me and Los have been talking about that.
What's that?
Murakami and Sasaki.
I believe Murakami has 50 homers so far this year.
Go get Murakami and
get him for 7.5 million a year.
Sasaki, he's a guy that throws high 90s, sometimes in the 100s.
You're probably going to have to pay a lot more than that. You're going to have to pay him more along the lines what the guy in Chicago got. Suzuki,
yeah, 75.
Right? How much does Suzuki get? That's all?
I think
75 million.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Oh, I thought
5 years.
I thought you said 7.5. Okay.
No, 75.
Yeah,
cheap.
75 over 5, 15 mil.
Heck yeah.
But get Sasaki, he's got a devastating changeup too.
So imagine if you got both of those guys for half the price that it.
Hey man, I would go get the best Japanese player every year, and just have about 8 of them.
Yeah.
Do you think Yaz would bring back anything decent?
He might bring a mid-level prospect.
Yeah,
I'll take it.
I mean, that's why. I mean, there's 2 sides to this. But here's what Farhan will do. I can almost guarantee it. He will do a little buying and a little selling, and he'll try to sell around the edges where he gets some players back and doesn't give up much, and he'll try and bring in some people that he think can help, but it won't be anything earth-shattering. It won't, it's not going to be front page news on the national media. It's going to, I could see them doing something like that, almost like what he did last year. He got JD Davis, and he traded away some guys, and it was like, but he thought he had the horses. He thought he had the horses in 19. Remember Bochy's last year, and he didn't.
Yep,
they got
didn't
hot.
Trade
didn't trade Bumgarner. Didn't. Yeah.
So he's made those mistakes before, but he's gonna probably do it again.
I think it seems to be his. Doesn't it seem to like he's a little bit like cautious and a little kind of let things play out. I mean, it would be shocking to me, and it would be completely out of character for him to go tomorrow and pull a trigger on a really good deal.
No, he's got a little Rothberg in him. He's the eternal optimist.
Because he's gonna end up. See, if you really believe you're a team that can make the playoffs, don't you wait? Don't you make a move to stop the bleeding the way your team's sinking? Because by waiting, what you're going to do is this team seems to be fluttering.
By his comments on what he said, Dan, he seems to think that this recent slump is all attributed to injuries. He seems to think that if this team gets healthy, they're automatically going to be, one of the top 5 teams in the NL. And completely healthy, I think the Phillies are better. I think Miami's better. I think possibly the Mets are better just because of their pitching.
Yes.
So that's the hard reality. If everybody's healthy,
who's
out?
Have
a little bit more
who's out right now besides Estrada?
Who's hurt?
That's
of significance.
Brebbia, I guess, because he was one of your key guys.
Yeah,
in the bullpen.
Brebbia would be one. Okay. And Luke Jackson. Brebbia and Luke Jackson, the bullpen.
You know what doesn't make sense either, Los? When Farhan says that, he talks about health. But yeah, he goes out and signs guys who are injury prone. It's like, what are you doing? If you're going to sit there and talk about, oh, yeah, if we're healthy, we're going to make a run. But in an offseason, you go hire guys who just come off Tommy John or has a history of always being hurt. It doesn't add up in what this is the frustrating part that I have with Farhan.
Yeah.
Man.
Yep. Yep, exactly. I think from the standpoint of they're kind of healthy now, Dan, but I think like on Larry's show, they were saying that they've used the IL more than anybody. So maybe that's what he was alluding to. Like they haven't been consistently healthy all year. Let us be consistent and we're going to be a top team.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Conforto's still dealing with it. Slater obviously is. Yaz probably is still dealing with the hamstring. Crawford's probably still dealing with a cranky knee. I mean, those are still happening.
Even if you're completely healthy, your 3, 4, 5 starters are average to below average. Period. That's sorry.
Yeah, the starters are below the average. Their lineup. Yep. What scares you in their lineup?
Yeah, exactly. Nothing right now. At this point, there's nothing in that lineup that scares me.
Anybody in your lineup, when anybody comes up, is it like, oh my goodness?
Look and imagine this team against the Atlanta Braves. Oh, they'll get destroyed.
Against Strider. Game 1 will be Strider versus Webb.
But you got Matt Olson, Acuna, Michael Harris II. I mean, you got these guys. They're just world beaters, man.
Austin Riley,
Austin Riley. Yep.
Ozzie Albies
who's a quick guy. I mean, it's just...
Their shortstop's good too. The guy that replaced
nobody, to answer your question, Dan, nobody in the Giants lineup scares you because they're all streaky hitters. They all have their 1 week, 10-day run. And like I said, 3 weeks ago, Conforto was like, oh man, Conforto, like he's
right.
And then he's back down. JD's starting to slow down a little bit. Wade is kind of slowing down a little bit. Yaz has been hurt.
Look at what Mark Graves says. Your number 3 hitter is bunting with a 2-0 count.
Yeah. I mean,
it's a handicap. And that's why, Lamont Wade does not hit left-handed pitching well. And so when he comes up against a lefty and men are on base, rather than try and drive him in, they're afraid he's just going to strike out. So they try and make it a productive out. And but to Mark's point, he's your number 3 hitter and it's 2-0.
Where Buster Posey used to bat. Yeah.
If that's what you think of your number 3 hitter, then why are you putting him in the 3 hole? If you're facing a lefty, why aren't you putting him down somewhere around 7? I mean, I would have loaded that. I mean, I'll tell you another thing. I've never been, he comes through now and then, but I'm not a huge Austin Slater fan. I think he's a good bench guy to have, but I don't see him like for example, if Ramos was eligible to come up right now, but he has to wait till he's off the 60-day IL on July 18th, so another 10, 11 days. If Ramos is hitting like he's hitting, I'd rather have Ramos in there than Slater.
Because he would be your future, right? He's your future, not Slater.
Why do I want a 23-year-old guy that I want to see what he can do instead of this 30-year-old guy that's never done much of anything. He's average, okay? He's not like, oh, wow. I mean, maybe when Slater's 100% healthy, but the hamstring.
But the Giants love him like they love Yaz.
And you know what? Here's a good point. Maybe at the trade deadline, not Slater, but maybe how would you feel about trading Wade and then putting Sable as your first baseman of the future?
I'm fine with that. I'm not committed to anybody in the lineup except for the young guys.
Exactly.
Honestly. I mean,
I
like JD.
Sable has shown he could hit at the major league level.
I think Bailey might be our most consistent best hitter right now, and he's still kind of early in his career, but I kind of know his at-bats. He puts the ball in play. He rarely looks bad striking out, and he makes good contact. But,
I think Bailey's probably going to end up hitting around 260 this year.
The league will figure him out maybe in a month or two. We'll see.
Well, they're already starting to. And
they've definitely figured out Schmidt.
And my point tonight, you probably heard on the Larry shows with Matos is he was doing well when he was at the top of the lineup. And then they just started sticking him at the bottom. And now he's like, I think it affects some guys when they feel like, hey, I'm the dude. I'm batting.
Well, not only that, you take it out of the rhythm. They're in a normal rhythm of, they've been in, he's with AAA, always batting leadoff. He's used to that certain, that rhythm.
The home run he hit, where was he at in the lineup?
I think he was batting like 7th or 8th.
Was he down there at that time?
Yeah. He's never bat anything anywhere. Has he even hit?
He hit second his first game.
Maybe it was second, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, his first couple games, he was at the top of the order.
Yeah, that's right. But yeah, he hit the home run and he was further down in the lineup.
Yeah. I guess, says got to keep Lamont, J.D. Davis, and Yaz for the rest of the season at least.
For what?
For what? We'll see. I mean, we'll see. You know what? They've got how many games left? They got 11 plus these 2. That's 13. How many games they got after the? I'll tell you right now. Here
All right.
They got these 2 with Colorado, and they better win these 2, or it's going to be a.
Oh, I tell you something. If they lose a series against the worst team in the National League, my God, come on.
They just better win these 2. That's all I got to say.
Do I dare ask who pitches tomorrow for the Giants?
Okay, so they got 11. They got 13,
they used 6
15.
pitchers tonight. He better go deep.
They got 19 games before the actual trade deadline. 19. If after 17, okay, I'm not waiting until the last day again, 19 days. If after 17, if they're like, if they go 6-11 and they're like a 500 team and they're a few games out of the wild card, I'm just like, look, I'm not going to play this game again and see if we can get in.
Right.
But on the other hand, if they go 11-6 in those 17 and they're firmly in the race, then okay, make some fringe moves, but don't get rid of your top prospects. You're seeing guys that are starting to be able to hit the ball. Let's see what they can do. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, they've never given Elliot Ramos a fair shot.
No, they haven't.
And 46 at bats is not a shot.
And you know what? That might be an underlying problem, guys. Is maybe they lose quite a few of these 17, 18 games, and all of us that have rational thinking will think they're kind of out of it. And the Giants don't want to commit to young guys because maybe the underlying problem is maybe Kapler is just not good with young guys. We see how impatient he is with Matos. Like he has one bad game and he drops to 8th or 9th in the order. So what happens if Ramos does come up and he goes 0 for 8 in his 2 games?
They'll send him back to AAA.
Exactly. That's their MO. They don't have patience with young guys. So I have a feeling that even if they tank in these next 17 games, they're still not going to sell. We've proven that the Giants don't sell. That's just not their MO.
Dan, who's pitching the next 2 Giants games?
Webb's pitching.
I think Webb throws Sunday, doesn't he?
So tomorrow. Then let me guess.
Webb goes Sunday.
Who's tomorrow?
Tomorrow's probably undecided at this point.
Alex Wood.
I bet
Alex Wood.
No, so that's going to be a bullpen game.
Let me look and see who it is.
Mason Black continues the deal in Richmond. Yeah, that's great.
Yep, you got it. It's Ryan Walker.
Told you. There we go. Another bullpen game. Had 6 guys go today, and now how many guys are going to? Oh, I know what it's going to be. It's going to be their long guys who don't get tired, right?
It'll be Mania, and then who
got it?
I didn't even watch the whole game tonight because I was busy. Who pitched tonight? I know the Rogers brothers pitched. Stripling,
Rogers, Alexander,
Lova, or whatever.
Yeah,
half the pitching staff pitched tonight.
God, man.
Yeah,
I don't know.
The bullpen stuff gets really old. And tonight.
And Wynn got options, so it won't be Wynn. So it's probably going to be, you're probably right. Beck will come in and be the bulk innings guy, I guess. Manaya will probably show up.
Didn't Beck pitch tonight too?
He did.
Oh wait, he did. Never mind. Yeah. Maybe it won't be Beck then.
It'll be Manaya. It'll be Junis.
Yep.
Wait a minute. Is Keaton?
Oh, you know what else? It could
Keaton Wynn got sent down.
It'll be Wood too. I forgot.
I said Alex Wood.
It's Wood tomorrow.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Because he pitched Sunday.
Yep.
So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, he's at his full array of rest. It's Alex Wood. Yeah. It's like, just start the guy.
Exactly. If you're going to come in at the second inning, why not pitch the first inning? What's the difference?
Well, the thing is it's stupid. Let me tell you why it's stupid to everybody listening here. Alex Wood has been a starter for most of his career. He's done some bullpen stuff, but he is used to starting. Starting and relieving is completely different.
Yes.
Your mental psyche,
the preparation,
the night before, the whole thing. And then you start throwing and stretching. You go into the outfield and you throw long tosses. And then you get into your bullpen routine and you go about 20 minutes of throwing and you walk onto the field as the game is getting ready to start from the bullpen. And you're fresh and you got your arm ready to go. But in a bullpen game, especially for a guy like him, he's got to get up and then he's got to start throwing, and it's like you don't know when you're going to come in. It's just ridiculous.
It's dumb.
Just start him. I mean, it's like, oh, you're going to fool the other team because they're going to make their lineup out and they're facing a righty, and then we're going to come in with a lefty, and that's what they're going to do. Is like, I understand what they're doing. They think they're getting an advantage because he's facing some right-handers in the beginning, but he's probably going to put Ryan McMahon right up there at the top of the order.
Dan, did you notice? I don't know if Ned directly answered the question Will Martinez had, who, by the way, stole my idea, but that's okay. About the Giants have never had a history of selling. He kind of was just talking about the ownership are good baseball men and they know this, but I got the sense that he didn't answer directly why the Giants have never had a history of selling at the trade deadline. They always think that they're in it, even though a lot of times they're not. Or is it more of a fan thing? They really think if they sell off Yaz and Jock and Conforto for some young guys that the attendance is going to drop from 30,000 to 10,000? Do they really think that? I think Giants fans will be excited to have a bunch of young guys heading until next year. That's just me.
Yeah, and I think if imagine if you were able to sell. I'll tell you, the guys would be really good to get rid of in this deal. One is if you can get rid of DeSclafani, even if it's just for a can of corn. You get rid of his contract for next year.
Yeah.
Okay. And then if you can get rid of Manaya and Stripling because they have options to come back, and do you want that $12 million back next year?
No.
I don't think so. Get rid of that $12 million. Get rid of DeSclafani's $12 million. Get rid of, and I mean, even if you could get rid of, they're not going to do it, but that would be the prudent thing to do. And if you could get rid of Jock, I mean, he's going to be gone anyway next year, so might as well get rid of him. Conforto's a guy who can opt in or opt out. If he's not going to produce, you ideally want to move off of him so you don't have his contract next year at $18 million.
I always make fun of the Giants GM, the actual GM, because I don't remember his name ever.
Pete Petulia.
Because he's never front and center. Like every time it's
the last two of them.
Yeah, it's always Farhan taking all the questions.
You know what? You know what'd even be better than just having a trade? How about we sign up Zaidi Farhan for one of Ned Coletti's classes down in Fullerton? How about we do that?
Well,
how about we do that? Or Pepperdine, yeah. How about we do that? How about we sign up for a course with Ned Coletti, and maybe you'll get some sense. How about that? There we go.
The other thing about this is these guys, Farhan versus Pete Petulia. Like Ned said, Pete Petulia is the GM, but Farhan's the president of baseball ops. Farhan's the GM, and Pete Petulia is the assistant GM.
Yeah,
they just changed titles. That's all it is. He's
semantics.
Yeah, it's just semantics. It's like, oh, president of baseball.
President of baseball operations. Yeah, that sounds fun.
I'd trade DeScalfini for a pitching machine, and with that 12,
I'll be right back. That's funny.
You know what? Why not?
With that $12 million, I'd give it to Ned. I'd offer it to Ned, see if he wants to come back. And
honestly, I mean, I would even just take we'll pay next year's contract here. You guys want to take them? It's only $12 million. Who cares? You know,
isn't that crazy? How $12 million is just nothing nowadays.
Yeah, I know. For the Giants, it's even more so. Oh, yeah. It's just
Ned is probably he's retired, huh? He would not come back even for a huge salary.
Oh my! If he was to come back, I'd be demanding like I got to have free reign. I can't be dealing with some of this other crap. And he definitely wouldn't work under Farhan. I don't see him working under Farhan. No
Ned can't say it on camera.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's got friends in the Giants organizations. But if you talk to him off camera, I bet he would say, kind of agree with us, like, this is not a championship team. Could it squeeze into the playoffs? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it could squeeze in.
But
absolutely.
It's not a championship team. I mean, and I know Giants fans like to think, well, the 2010 team and the 12 and the 14 team, they were not the favorites. Yeah, I get it. But you know what that team had? Pitching.
Yes.
This team doesn't have pitching.
That's the issue.
So there's a big difference, guys. There's a big difference. Yep. So, yeah, Ned would understand this is not a championship team. It's barely a playoff team, if that. And I bet you he would agree with us and sell off a lot of these veterans, stack up some young guys, and start fresh in spring training next year with a nice, young, athletic, fast team. Maybe with a couple.
That's why I posed that question yesterday, talking about right now, can the Giants beat the Reds? Can they beat the Dodgers? Can they beat the Diamondbacks? I'm talking about in a 5-game series, whatever it may be. And then lastly, Atlanta, because all roads lead through Atlanta. There's no way.
I'm really surprised by a lot of people just thinking Arizona's just going to go away. Like they have a good team. They have a young, athletic lineup, and they got two good starters like the Giants do. They will make a trade.
And that's the thing. All they need is a starter or two, and they're good. That's it.
Their lineup is way more consistent.
Yes,
and an everyday lineup than the Giants platoon system.
Yep.
So that's why to me, Arizona is a better team. Just they are. They're Corbin Carroll.
Tyler, the Reds are not going to fall off. That ain't going to happen. They're just right now. They got some good young players who are up and producing. Their pitching is suspect. But boy, they got a team that just can rake.
Talking about Cincinnati?
Yeah.
I guessed it. I heard you say.
Tyler said the Reds would fall off. I don't see it.
That's what I want the Giants to have next year or by 25. I would love to have all these young guys all together. That's how a lineup goes. Like Bochy said, just keep the line moving.
This is what I agree with: is do it, Baltimore, Arizona.
That's exactly what I want.
Houston did it, and look how good they were. They still are.
That's exactly what I want.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, Pete Petulia. You're the GM. What do you have to say? Stop being so quiet.
See, here's the issue, Tyler. It's easy to find a bullpen arm during the trade deadline, and if that's all they need, you're good to go. Because, like I said, the Reds, man, they got some firepower on that. They don't give up. I'm telling you, they got some awesome freaking guys in their lineup.
Hey, Chardal, thanks for letting me know that. I guess it's 5 minutes to midnight. I didn't know that.
Yes, exactly, Logan. Yeah, you added the Reds into that. It's the same thing. Same thing at the Orioles and the D-backs. They got their young guys. They're sprinkled in with some really good veteran talent, and then you're cooking with gas.
Yep.
Danny, while you were gone, I was saying that a lot of Giants fans just think, well, just get in and anything can happen, like 10, 12, and 14. And my point is 10, 12, and 14 had a nasty pitching staff.
It did.
And it had not only one of the best rotations in the league, it had
the
one
best
of the
bullpen.
best bullpens in the league.
Well,
this
it had
team
four.
Does not, this team does not have that.
Right.
No.
It had the best. Now the Giants do have. Where did I see it? They were ranked. I was looking at something, and it was the rankings of their hitting, their defense, and pitching.
That's another thing this team does not have that those teams had is they don't have a good defense.
They're horrible. They're worse in baseball.
Yeah. So if you don't have a great pitching staff and you have a horrible defense, like, don't compare this team. You just get in, don't do that.
Yeah, the defense is awful. Man. You know what, guys?
I'm with the Houston, Baltimore, Arizona plan.
Yep.
I can't find it, but you know what?
I'm not the GM.
Hey, it's almost 1. I am just beat, and I'm going to get going. But if you guys can keep going, if you want to go.
Way to hang in there, Denny.
Yeah, I just want to, sorry everybody for the way it turned out. When Ned is on, it's very difficult to kind of go head to head, and then a lot of people wanted to hear what Ned's got to say, and I thought they were going to finish up at about 11, and then it just kept going and going and going. So
I hope we can get him in here.
Yeah, we'll get him in here because he said, what did he say he was going to be gone until the
July 17th.
17th to the 31st.
All right, I'll shoot for him sometime, maybe even next week.
Let's try to start a show that involves Ned after a East Coast or a South game.
Oh, it will be because they go on the road. Yeah,
perfect.
So I'm going to try and start one, like 7:00.
Yeah,
and maybe right after the break when they play Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Or that Friday night. Well, it might be tough because Larry seems to always get them on Friday nights. So, but anyway, thanks for joining. Mark, just do your own show. Yeah, we may just end up doing that. The plan is it didn't go according to plan, was to go to 11 and then everybody was going to come over to our channel here, but it never materialized. So, but we'll figure it out, and we'll try and get these shows in earlier for sure. Tomorrow, the Giants have a day game?
Usually on the weekends, right? I'm not sure.
Okay.
It's either midday or afternoon, I would think.
It is 1:05.
Oh, okay.
So we'll be back tomorrow, somewhere around 3:45, 3:30, anywhere between 3:30 and 4, depending on the length of the game. I'll put out the thumbnail that tells you the time somewhere, around the 7th inning when I can judge when the game's going to end, pretty much. And we'll be on tomorrow.
Sounds good.
So we will do it. For Eric and Los, thank you for being part of NorCal Sports Network. And we'll see you guys tomorrow
Mañana.
at right after the Giants-Colorado Rockies game. Thanks, everybody.